Welcome to another episode of the Coffee Conversation Show. Series is The Emerging Lawyer, powered by the Emerging India Forum TIF and our tech partner, Prime Infotech Solution. Today's theme is navigating cross-border legal terrain. We have with us international lawyer Halime Tastan, a distinguished Turkish lawyer specializing in international business and investments. She has over 12 years of experience and she's the founder of BND Global Consultancy. So, welcome, Halime, to our Coffee Conversation Show.
Thank you very much, sir. It's pleasure to be here, and it's amazing to be hosted by you. So thank you for this opportunity.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. So, Halime, I just wanted to explain to you the format of this coffee conversation. It's divided into three parts. First part is your professional journey. Second part is your personal journey, and there is a surprise rapid fire round.
Okay.
So let's begin. So friends, I'm your host, Lain Amir Virani, a legal tech evangelist and Prime Infotech Solution. So Halime, looking back, how has the journey as an international lawyer been till date?
I can start with my experience with India, I guess. So that's my breaking point. So being in India for 15 years, it really allows me to work on a lot of very unique and for sure cross-border cases. Being a Turkish lawyer and handling Indian clients give me a lot of excessive, unique experience. So it is a very exciting journey. Still, it's been 15, in fact, right now, 15 plus years, but still it is as exciting as the first day. So.
Okay. How does the name of BND Global Consultancy come up?
So BND Consultancy is a company which doesn't serve only in the legal services. We have our legal team who handles exclusively the legal cases, but we would like to be a turnkey consultancy services with a mission exclusively between India and Turkey, providing services in these two jurisdictions, not only for the legal problems, but from business and investment and financial advisory with our associates and teams.
That's interesting. So, handling Turkish clients and handling Indian clients, what challenges have you faced and how did you resolve them?
I can start with saying that any case, any deal, any inquiry which is cross-border means it's more than one country, more than one jurisdiction, more than one culture. So these are the challenges which both parties faces, and that's where we come into picture to minimize these differences, to make the both parties to understand, to have a smooth business further. And we follow a preventive law policy where we always advise our clients well in advance before they proceed, so they can understand all the challenges well in advance. Either it is business, it's legal challenges, language challenges, cultural challenges, political and economical challenges between these two countries. And based on their sector, we do an exclusive research and a legal compliance check. So we customize the answers and provide them the customized and boutique solutions.
That's interesting. Any success story where you enjoyed working on that particular case and what is it about?
So I can say that there's a lot of interesting cases, especially the mergers and acquisitions is quite a long journey. Joint ventures, again, is a good partnership deals, would take a lot of renegotiations, which I believe it should be, because it's a long-term, all has a long-term aspects. For me, I guess the more I work on that is the joint projects, that a lot of challenges comes, again, to understanding each other's, understanding each jurisdiction in detail, sectoral-wise special requirements and compliances. And we lawyers, we are known for thinking for the worst scenario, because at the beginning of any deal, everything is so perfect and nice. But I don't know if it is applicable in India, but we have a saying in Turkey, by an 80-year-old lawyer, say that all the cases happens between two people who trust each other blindly. So all the cases, if you see all the disputes, the main factor over is the trust. Sometimes this trust make them going from objective to subjective. So emotions comes into picture where there's a lot of aspects to be considered. But trust should be there for sure. The synergy has to be there. But there is no harm in doing a due diligence, to doing a background check, and to understand the local compliances to certain level, so you have an understanding, so you know what can come for you. So I always suggest to work, even in India, we work with the Indian associates, lawyer associates. They're amazing. I'm learning every day from them. And likewise, anybody entering the Turkey market or any other global market, for sure a local consultant will really prevent a lot of challenges in the long coming way.
That's interesting. The point where you specified the trust, that is very important, and dealing in cross-border cultural differences, time zone differences, so many things. The main factor of
Communication.
anywhere, communication and trust is very important. That is a beautiful tip you have shared. So continue conversation, Halime. As a woman lawyer, any disadvantages you have faced, and how has you have overcome them? Now, since Women's Day is coming up, so
Yeah.
some tips from you.
So I could say maybe as a personality, I don't look at the disadvantages much. I like disadvantages and challenges, and that's why I don't consider them as the challenges. But if you look at the human biology, I'm sorry to say that humans from the birth came with such abilities that we are multitasking and multi-way of thinking, and handling the crisis management is one of our unique aspects. I'm sure the men in whatever role they are in our life enjoys with that, and that reflects these abilities also help us a lot strengthen. Our position gets much in another level when it's business. So I always consider that being a woman is any sector, it's challenging, but it is the prize or the results, the outcome also as encouraging. So it is definitely we are, we are okay. We know how to handle the challenges. So I guess that's all okay. That's just a path. But only the disadvantage, I cannot say this as a disadvantage, but to certain level in different cultures, it depends on what cultures you are having a client coming with that background. We have that cultural judgmental profiles that, or in certain jurisdiction or certain expertise in law, like the criminal law, they think that a woman cannot handle much. It means that manpower, but then in the reality, everywhere, it is all about how you have that thinking process. Because lawyers are all about that. We have to find that gaps and convert it to advantage or to our clients, to protect our clients' right. In fact, I have a small story about that. In fact, I will not say which lawyer. It's a woman or man, doesn't matter. But the lawyers we are very critical. There was a lawyer, and when there's a rich client who has a criminal case in England, and the guy has to be executed, the results. So the lawyer was called, and the guy was so tense, and he said, "Don't worry, we have the appeal." So appeal also went, and again the decision was approved as execution. And then all the process completed, and still there is no change. The guy is in trouble because he's gonna be under death penalty. And he says, the lawyer says, "Don't worry, the Queen has to approve this decision. Still, we have one more way to go." And Queen also approves. The result is execution. The time comes. The guy goes to for the death penalty execution. And the moment they put hanging on his head and they push the chair, the lawyer runs, cut the robe. And everybody comes and said, what are you doing? And then he removes his English criminal book, saying that it says that my client can be death penalty, but it doesn't say that it should be killed by hanging. As the law has a gap, the lawyer finds and rescued this guy. So in fact, that is a description, the roots of this phrase, when you describe a successful lawyer, that he can, save you from the hanging. This story is the root of this phrase, which describes a successful lawyer. So, we are there to find that the more details where it is hidden, because every day the world changes, law is equal to life. Whatever is changing, there's a gap comes. So we have to be on the stage, always looking for these gaps and helping our clients.
That's very interesting. So since 8th March is very near, and that is an International Women Day, so one message for the women community from you, being a woman, a legal professional.
I don't think that women needs advice. They already handle. We have to cooperate more each other. I can say that. The women power should come together because we can make this world better. The world needs us more and more women to come out. And still, if you ask to me, the real potential is still not out in this century also. So yes, we don't need encouragement, but we may need support because you have positive physical advantages, men, but we have other advantages. So this is a good combination, and we just shouldn't give up. That's all I can say, because there's a lot of challenges comes in front of us because we don't have that luxury the way the man has. When there's a child comes in our life, we are the one who has to do the sacrifice. Every level of our life, it's expected from a woman to go back and focus for the family. But we are such strong creatures that we can handle everything in one shot. Somewhere when sometimes we need help, we are always there for each other.
Superb advice. Women can do anything. That is true from ancient times. So continue my conversation, Halime. Why did you select India to operate in and expand your horizons?
The India story starts by like when in 2008 with Oracle. That's how I came to India as a Turkish language expert. And there again, I found some part of legal work where we were going through the agreements. It was supposed to be 1-year project, but and I was supposed to go back then. But from that day, I'm not able to go back because, as I told you, the system in India, it is amazing. You guys are well in advance in many things, in spite of all the challenges also. And in these 15 years, from the day when I enter here, a person who lives in India can see the real potential of India. And right now I can see what I was trying to explain or promote from the day one about India, that India is the superpower, and anybody who, has that global vision to be, or have the ability, it needs an ability to be in Indian market. It is not just any market, it's one of the most challenging and the most benefiting market to be a part. So I always prepare these case studies on regular basis, like how McDonald's enter India market and what challenges they face being a big brand. So likewise, for every brand, they need to have the right guidance to come to Indian market and then really do wonders. So I guess we so personally experienced this, either personally or for our clients. As I told you, there's a lot of Turkish companies and clients are really interested in India, but India is bigger than European Union, where my country is more targeting 26 states. Every state has a different language, different business culture, and these different advantages. And all these things has to be truly, promoted and explained. And that's where we are coming as a bridge to provide the right legal frameworks, the right guidance about the compliances, the right legal advice for the disputes, possible disputes, And obviously, when you are entering Indian market, you are being a part of Indian legal jurisdiction. So you should be aware of every step and your responsibilities and your legal rights. So we are there for that.
Very true, very true. How has technology helped you in shaping your career as a legal advisor internationally?
So what I can say is in generally the international cases, as the legal disputes are a challenge. And that's why we suggest our clients when it's a cross-border deal, it's very important to find out the right jurisdiction clause in your agreement, depends on what we are looking for. So we always provide alternative dispute resolutions. It makes more effects and it's more speedier when you have to run between two jurisdictions to protect your rights. And especially these online dispute resolutions are still not picked up as much as it should be, but it is really effective. I was a part of few cases, and it really, like me sitting in India, my client sitting in Europe, and another client, the witnesses are sitting in Turkey, and the case is in Singapore, taking care the online dispute resolution. So this is in normal before the technology. It was not even imagined. I guess we experienced the importance of the technology in legal world during the COVID as well. So still it has to be practiced, still there has to be checked, because even the AI is a big question and big discussion going on. In certain level, definitely it speeds up a lot of paralegal work, but which it should be always have a human touch, because law is all about human. So how much ever the laws, as you know, there's legal regulations also not enough to protect or to speed up with the life. So with the technology, we have at the same time comes the problems, the gaps, the control over it. The governments itself, you're having a special committee for the technologies, how they can really control the system. What kind of legal revisions is required to proceed. So it's a very unique platform. For sure, technology is very helpful in every part of our life, including in our case. I can speak with any part of the world, with any of my clients, and provide the services. By sitting here, I handle a lot of Turkish cases. So that's another symbol, I guess I can say.
Yeah, very true. Halime has become a digital nomad.
We have to. I live in India.
Yeah, so you're really imbibed the concept of the digital nomad, working from anywhere, anytime,
Lawyers
and
can do that because everybody has a concept that lawyers are required only when there's a dispute or there's the litigation work. Yes, that it's mandatory.
yeah,
Lawyers required in every level of life. So, and the consultancy part of us is, I have a lot of clients who comes to me with the advice, and later on they said, okay, you know what, I don't want to carry on. Like with a lawyer, I don't need it. I'm expert in my business, which I'm fairly okay about that, because they come back to me with the bigger cases and with the bigger issues, with the bigger payments. So at the beginning, when they don't consider the advisors, or because it's not very simple, the law is something changes every day. And when you speak with more than one jurisdiction, it's out of control. So you cannot really take that risk. It's already risky doing business, investments, because today's world, if you see, it's global crisis, it's a global political stability problems. So you cannot know what will happen tomorrow in anywhere in the world. So it should be very, you should minimize as much as possible.
very true, very true. So now coming to my next question, whom do you follow or admire in the field of international law?
All the Indian lawyers who is doing international, I try my best to follow, because they are really expert and gurus in this industry, because I learned a lot from Indian jurisdiction also, because system is totally Anglo-Saxon system here. It's totally different than Turkish jurisdiction system. I admire the judges here, the petitions, every petition is like a thesis. So, but specifically, if you ask me, I have one, I cannot name one because I'm still considering myself a lifelong student or a researcher. And every day I am looking forward to be a student under supervision of any of my colleagues. So as a lawyer, we never have, it's done, we are done and we know everything. So every day we spend more time on learning than sorting out cases. That's what I believe in international cross-border cases, especially.
Very true. Continuing by this conversation, how do you keep abreast of the developments, changes happening in international cross-border, the law part, the technology part, so many things. What do you do for your research and so on, everything?
So every jurisdiction I work with, I have my local partners. So we exchange. I do a lot of comparing law, which helps me to understand both the jurisdiction. And as we do cross-border deals, there's a lot of cases comes in front of us where we also learn with that case also, the interesting points. Like I can give you one example. In Turkey, when a foreigner wants to open a case, we have a foreignness deposit has to be done, except the litigation cost. So at the litigation process, the standard process, whatever the payment has to be done. But a foreigner comes to Turkey and wants to open a case, we have another insurance, another payment has to be done by the foreigners, which is called foreigners insurance, like deposit. So this concept was very interesting because we were handling an Indian client and even the judges to a certain level, that's another problem we face. When it comes to international, even judges sometimes lack of information and the understanding of another jurisdiction or the background that the parties comes from. So we have to sometimes also highlight that. So we check the bilateral agreements, treaties, and then, well, what we realized, the bilateral agreement we have between India and Turkey, there is no clause mentioning about this deposit. It says both the parties' citizens have the same rights like the local citizen, but there is no mentioning of should we pay this foreigners insurance or not. So this was a huge research we did, and in the end, we had to prove this to our Turkish judge all the way with a letter from Minister of Foreign Affairs India, explaining the Indian system doesn't have a separate Indian and foreigner separation when it comes to the parties in the cases. So there is no such term, so you cannot mention this in the bilateral agreements. So when we search all over the world, it is not there in Italy, Saudi Arabia, and India. So in these three bilateral agreements, we couldn't find this. So this was a breaking point for me, and this is where we come into picture as cross-border. This is not a standard process where we can do. Another biggest point, maybe it's small advice I can tell, this is one of our life-saving tricks for cross-border deals, especially the pre-negotiation process. As you know, when the both parties and the deal is huge, then it can take really a long time. And in business, every day is a profit. So you cannot really wait the pre-negotiations to complete, drafting the agreement to complete, then you can start to process this joint project, joint venture, right? So every lawyer should be very careful when it's a cross-border to mention that our clients, our party, the clients whom we represent, doesn't have any liability caused during the pre-negotiation process. Because there's a lot of huge deals where there's after 1 year, more than a year negotiations, it didn't went through. So, it is not completed as a successful outcome. So what happens? The opposite party has a problem with that, saying that my 2 years, I waited this deal to go through, and I lost a lot of, business-related. So they come to you and they sue you for a compensation that you were liable for that pre-negotiation process. Just mentioning that small line in your email or in your clauses saved $1 million in many cases in cross-border, which I face personally. This one of my senior lawyer taught me when we were drafting an agreement. From that day, this is one of motto, for example, I really care because We don't know at the beginning, it takes years. And years means equals $1 million sometimes in the cases, cross-border deals. So this is one of the kind of, today's outcome. I wanted to just make it a little interesting. I'm sure lots of lawyers, my colleagues knows this, but this should be also understood by the clients or by the business owners.
So continue my conversation from the perspective of the client who wants to go global. So what are the checklists he should be focusing on that will help him set up a company or joint venture in a different country?
So what we do, we first understand the business and their aim with that market. So before anybody takes a decision to next level, we always suggest that to make it through legal compliance research based on that sector, if that country is friendly or favorable to enter into, if the law allows them to be, to come and expand. In some, there are challenges which is not there in maybe in their own country, so they don't consider that. So a legal framework, a legal compliances, regulations check for that industry as per their plan has to be done. Once everything is positive in that, most of them generally they go to another country as a global expansion. Either they already have a deal going through, so they already have a partner, or they are looking for a partner. In any case, even they do business for years together, and now they want to take it to another level. Definitely, you should know the background of that company. The due diligence is the most important, because when you're dealing on a certain level, you know that person profile only to certain level. But when you are involving in a long-term and a bigger investment in that country, I can say the first step was import-export, and now you want to open your warehouse or your manufacturing unit in that country, considering the volume. That's also very important to understand you are getting into. The third one is the definitely drafting an agreement before getting into the investment. And that, again, you have to consider very careful about the clauses. And once it is written, the right jurisdiction is chosen, and all the points are discussed, it gives a very clear picture and frame. But to add on to that, still, even though you do business again in that industry for years with that country, as your position is changing from importer or exporter to a local, because you open a company in another country, you become a Turkish or Indian legal entity. Means you are under the law and regulations, where you are responsible and liable. So your positions totally changes. You are no more foreigner. With your company, you become a local. So it means you have to know, you are abide to know the laws and regulations. You cannot say, hey, I'm sorry, I'm foreigner. I don't know the rules here. It's, for same thing when any foreigner comes to India. They cannot claim that they don't know the laws and regulations, so they couldn't follow it up. So it is their responsibility. That's another point. A local expertise, a consultant, either at the beginning or after, I suggest even in the long term, is really saving a lot of time, financial savings, and business goes smoothly. So that really makes an impact.
Very true, very true. So coming to my last question for your professional journey, what advice or key areas to focus on would you give to a lawyer who wants to establish for international cross-border work?
Being a Turkish, the first advice is the language. All my Turkish lawyers and colleagues, I tell them, because in Turkey, the jurisdiction, the law and court work, everything is in Turkish. As it is Turkish, so they don't have that access to, international law is all about at least a common language of English. So language matters. For India, that's why I'm saying you are way advanced, because everything is in English here. But again, when it's a state, in a state you are working and you really want to get global, the language matters a lot. I guess second step, targeting few jurisdiction and focusing on these bilateral relationships and bilateral agreements. that also gives fair idea how collaborative both governments when it comes to doing investment, business, and trade. Bilateral agreements really give a fair idea. Like a free trade agreement with a country means it's very much easier to do business. Sorry. So bilateral agreements is the second thing, and that is where, because bilateral agreements is international agreements, is above the local law. So in some cases, especially cross-border disputes, if there is a clause in the agreement, this can be applied. And believe me, until unless you work on these kind of cases, you really don't understand the importance of these agreements, how important it is. Then you can really make your scene or case to another level. Third is trying to network as much as possible with other jurisdiction lawyer. Be a part of the network, understand their perspective. Even a good talk is equal to one day lecturing in this university. That's what I can say. So speaking with the person who is on the stage, practicing already, sharing their valuable experiences really open up our minds, vision, mindset. And then obviously, study, research. I mean, there's no other way.
Wow. So my one question came up, which from your tips you were sharing. Why is it important for an international lawyer to be part of networking forums or to attend events? How does it help?
Lawyers, because we are one industry, I can say, which we can have client from any industry. We don't have industry specific. So we can have, yes, maybe low expertise. We can be an expertise in certain matters, but still anybody can come to us and seek our help. So events are the platforms where we can even meet our existing clients, potential clients, and even get good insights. So, getting a good insight, because just knowing the law doesn't help us to solve the problem or understand the problem. Because understanding the problem for lawyers also as important as finding the legal solutions. If I sit and speak with my client after not only legal, but business aspects, trade aspects, then I understand how the business culture, because there's a practice outside which is nothing to do with the law, and every industry, every sector follows the same cultural principles and same terms and conditions, every industry. So if you understand that really helps a lot to find out, to add on, added value to our services, having that experience. So events are one of my most favorite platforms to be a part. As I told you, it's for a good talk, a good exchange of information, knowing more people, more industries. Yes, and anybody needs help, maybe they don't know where we are, right? So it's a good presence platform also, being present and explaining yourself about your services.
Very true, true. Every platform has their advantages and you take benefit out of it. So friends, we come to the end of the professional journey part. Now we go to the personal journey, knowing Halime as a person. So Halime, how has the childhood been in Turkey?
Okay, now I have a small story again, because I was, I guess, by born an international person. So I had to be international because I was born in Hamburg, Germany. So I'm sure, in Germany, there's a huge Turkish population. We are around 3 million. So I come from that family. So till 12, I was in Germany. And then I came back to Turkey. And so I had a little culturally traumatic childhood, because in Germany, you are a foreigner, and you come back from Germany to Turkey, you are still a foreigner, a Turkish who lived NRI, what you call here. So your accent is a problem, your cultural behaviors is a problem. So the reason why I studied law was one of the reasons, because I get this traumatic childhood being in the two different countries. because law was one of the hardest, and you should speak very good Turkish because it's like an old Turkish we use in law in Turkey. So it needs a lot of depth knowledge about the language also. So that's another reason I choose the law. But otherwise, that makes me at the same time, I can adapt anywhere in this world. I mean, that I can say I feel more Indian right now, being in India, and from the day one, I was always welcomed and really met the best people, the best communities, the best opportunities in India. So Germany follows Turkey. After I finished my studies, I came to India. So I can say that the best 10 years, 20 to 30, where you are still exploring the world, I spent in India, and it was literally a unique experiences.
Wow. So your childhood hobbies or interest, which you've carried on and still pursuing?
I know it sounds very boring, but my two hobbies, one is reading. Still, I am into reading a lot, and the writing. So I write diaries from 13-year-old. So I still till today, I'm 38, and now still I'm writing. So most probably, I'm planning to publish a book in the end, after a few years of that journey. All these diaries becomes like another library because so I love writing and reading.
Wow, that's very interesting. So which book, uh, your past book which you have completed, can you share something?
In fact, I just have it with me. So
Wow.
sorry, I guess it's not here. Oh, sorry, here. I always carry a book. So how to win friends and influence people. So I get into personal growth. This is one topic I really like, and I think it helps me a lot because in this world, the most important thing is the courage. Like if you are having that, you have that encouragement to take that steps, anybody can get their dreams. However, we look humans, we are the most fearful at the same time. We know everything. It's easy to talk about other people's, it's easy to give advices to other people. But when it comes to self-criticism or your self-movements, we take a lot of hardcore thinking on that. So I still work on my personal growth as much as I can. I feel myself the one of the most uh, brave person, I can say, but still long way to go. We have all the challenges, and we have to keep by reading. I feed my soul by writing. It's like a therapy for me. So I get out of it, that situation. I suggest everybody.
That's interesting. So it's like on your reading and writing, a conversation can go on. We'll have that as a separate episode. So continuing, Halimi, if someone wants to visit Turkey, so what are the interesting places and food? Can you guide
We need
our
another
Indians?
episode topic, sir. We need another episode altogether for this, but I will just briefly explain.
Thank you.
Turkey is very rich historically.
Yes, yes.
So, we have 1,000 years Roman Empire, 1,000 years Byzantine empires. Before we had the first, the 0 point in the world, where the human life started officially is in southeast of Turkey. It's called Göbekli Tepe. That's the first known human lived in the world. So that's the 0 point. So imagine culturally, it's crazy. And then the last, we have Ottoman Empire around 600 years. So it's a beautiful country with the mix of, because Roman Empire, Byzantine Empire comes with the Greek roots. So we have a lot of Christian imprints in our country. It's merged with Muslim history. So it is very unique, and that way it's very beautiful. Then second thing I suggest, there is Bosphorus Bridge in Istanbul. So the bridge is take 10 minutes, and after you cross that bridge, you are either in Europe, and you are in Asia. So Istanbul is, again, really have that unique point. So in 10 minutes, you can be in Asia. So it's the opening door to the Europe. And
Yeah.
all parts of Turkey, I can say.
Yes.
It's beautiful to visit. It's more historical, and the facilities also is another points where I can say that they can really enjoy the Mediterranean Sea, Aegean Sea. When you
Wow.
go to the west of Turkey, you are like in Greek. So, yes.
That's interesting. We'll continue that in the next episode. Now coming to India,
Yes.
which tourist place have you visited and liked it most?
So I'm very blessed when it comes to traveling in India, but I consider myself Kannadiga. So I am more a Karnataka person. My favorite places here, the Mysore, Uti, Bandipur, Kurg, and Hampi. They are my regular visits. But I even did Tirupati visit. I did a darshan there before I start my business around 10 years ago. So I believe I respect all, all the sites here. There was a time when I was following every festival where it happens the best. Pushkar festival, go to Pushkar, Camel festival. The best Ganesha festival in Bombay, celebrate there. Diwali best in Chandni Chowk in Delhi, visit there. So I had a really nice, and due to business also I travel a lot. I was doing a spice research. It allows me to travel all South India,
Wow.
where we learn how to do, all this black pepper in Kurg, Kerala, Pondicherry is also again my another favorite place. But you have a lot of things to wonder. Still, I can say I travel 10%. There's
So that is
lot.
about travel. Let's talk about your food interest from Turkey as well as from India.
I'm more Indian than that ways. So I like the thalis here.
Mhm.
My favorite because there's a lot of options. Even North Indian thali, South Indian thali, I really like. Dosa for sure, I like. Really, every type of dosa. Yes, nobody can like biryani is another option. I never miss when I go to Hyderabad.
Mhm.
And butter chicken,
Mhm.
a good option there. So I can say all the all the Indian food is like I love to travel in their local place especially. You should have the in paratha, egg paratha in Chandi Chowk, for example. You know, you have to try it at Karim's. I go again that side to try. Bombay, I go to Haji Ali shops to try, like it's a local again, unique. So that's what I can say. Pakoda in Gujarat, I tried.
Wow. So you are truly
I mean,
enjoying wherever you go. That's very good, and you bring smile everywhere. Uh, so now let's get emotional. Who's the biggest supporter in your family?
in my family, my husband, I can say,
Wow.
because he's a Turkish guy, he's a dental technician, and he was very well settled in Turkey. But 2008 and 9, after 1 year completed, as I decided not to go back, he was then my boyfriend. He came all the way. He settled in India. He's still here with me for 13 years. He's doing great again, most welcome in India. But from the day one, he supported me. He always respect my decisions, so I'm so thankful to him. My family was so emotional about my decision about to India, because it is unknown country for them. So they were having, now they're very proud that I am in India. But at the beginning, it was big challenge. I had to convince them.
That's very interesting, and we're very happy. You have a very understanding husband, and best wishes, Kate. You stay and your relation grows together.
Thank you very
Uh,
much.
yeah. So, how do you unwind after a, a tiring day, and what is your secret mantra for work-life balance?
There, I have a lifestyle quite little different. That's why I love India. India is open to every type of lifestyle. So
Yes.
I'm a nature person. So but I have to live in city. But right now in Bangalore, I live in a farmhouse. So that is my place for unwinding any tiring day. Go back to nature because it's 1 acre, nice garden, no neighbors around. The only neighbors I have is all the blessing neighbors because one side we have Art of Living, one side we have Krishnamurti's Foundation Valley School, and another is the Pyramid Valley. So I'm between this triangle. So I'm sure you understand then what I mean. It's a blessing for me. So I'm so tired. I go out of living. I sit there and then, come back with all my energy and carry on the days. That's the most tiring days, what I can say. Like, it's really exhausting. Then I go.
That's very interesting. So now coming to the last question, what is the meaning of Halimi?
Very good question, sir. It means patience in Arabic. It comes from Arabic word, but it means patience. And from outside, I look like I don't have patience, but I am patient for the right things, not for everything. But that's what I can say.
That's very interesting. So this is the end of the personal journey round. Now we have the rapid fire round. So your answers have to be very quick and funny. Uh, you're an early bird or a night owl?
Night owl, for sure.
Okay. Tea or coffee?
Coffee.
Okay. So let's take a
Yes.
favorite quote.
Favorite quote.
Favorite quote.
Involve me in, I will learn.
Superb. Uh, favorite cuisine.
Indian cuisine.
One dish.
One dish, biryani.
Me too. Okay. Uh, are you like beaches or mountains?
Mountains. 100%.
Okay. Your favorite travel place, India or abroad?
Munnar.
Wow.
I really like that.
So you have handled the questions, everything wonderfully. So Alim, it was a wonderful conversation which we had covering your professional journey, personal journey, and learning a lot about international law, cross-border transactions, and friends. Anyone who's looking to set up, wants to expand globally, to go to Turkey, establish, Halimi is the right person to go to. You will get the details when the episode is uploaded. So Halimi, we had a wonderful conversation and we'll still continue having a conversation over coffee and look forward to another conversation with another subject expert friends. So it is a salute to an international woman who is staying in India for more than 10 years. That is an achievement, and we all love to have you to stay back till your end.
Here,
So,
sir. I'm not going there.
yes. So, signing off, this is Line Amir Varani over here.